What's up, everybody? Real with Omar, special guest. You've seen him before. You definitely know some of his clients. You probably know of him. Mike Success, Mike Rodriguez.
Yeah, well, I brought it back.
Well,
I brought it back. I got rid of the Success and then I brought it back.
I'm sorry. So what we at?
No, we had Mike Success, Mike Rodriguez,
Success.
whatever
So
you want.
legit. Right. Mike Success. Now, we're going to talk about his book later on, The Content to Cash Bible, which I purchased. Support your brother. He also bought my book, The Ancient Hard Money, Support Your Brother.
Exactly.
But before we get into that, it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Right? So, Mike, what's been going on? Talk to me about, so many things, right? Like, where do we start?
Yeah. Damn. I'm kind of like full circle now, right?
Okay.
That's like going back to the whole, I think the best place is to start with that whole success aspect of it.
Okay.
I had got rid of that. Got rid of it like it was something.
Yeah. I took off the tattoo.
Yeah, I got rid of that just because I felt like, even though I'm hip hop to the core, right?
Yeah.
I felt like it was too hip hop in my brain, and I was like, and then especially doing the book, I was like, you know what? Let me just go to my name. You know, I market my regular name, MYQ, right?
Right.
But then as I was talking, shout out to Ash, my co-author with the book, and it was just trying to figure out and finding something of uniformity for socials and this and that. And I was talking to him, I was talking to Cheekle about it because they're like kind of like my inner circle,
Right.
and they were like, yo, success is not hip hop like that. Like, success is like, I see so many things with that.
Yeah.
And I had a company started in 2020 called The Brand Success. And I had that for like anything I did, like consulting or whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, I need to bring that.
So what was the struggle? What you thought it was too hip hop?
Yeah, I felt
And
like
success is a word that just means you made it.
I know,
right?
I know. And
Yeah.
the thing is that I realized that it was my own doing with a lot of this stuff.
Unconscious bias in
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, because I'm sitting there and I know how, for me, it's because how that name started was hip hop.
Right.
And that's what I kept holding on to. And then I was like, no, but it's not.
Right.
And
right.
it's like, yo,
But
that
break
word
that
is
down a little
perfect.
bit. So hip hop, you were a dancer.
I was a dancer.
For who? For any notable?
No.
Okay. No, we're not going that deep.
No, I wasn't. No, but the thing is that when I started management, right?
Right.
I managed a reggae dude first, and then finally got a hip hop dude, and the one that we had success with, it was an artist by the name of Celeb from Harlem. I was in the Bronx, and the name Success came to me in a dream, which is wild, right?
Okay.
So in the dream, it said, you need to have your name. They used to call me Mike Manifesto, which is hilarious because I manifested
your
the
thoughts.
dough.
Okay, manifest the dough. I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was one of these dudes getting, and I wasn't really a fan of it, right? So in the dream, it was like, yeah, you got to be called Success because that's what you're destined for. And that came in a dream, and I believe in all of that.
I like that.
The next day, I go to Celeb's. He lived in Manhattanville Projects, and in front of the projects, they have like little gardens.
Right.
And I never noticed it. I walk up, and this one was called Sweet Success.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's it. And
Yeah,
then
the world is speaking to me.
Exactly.
Right?
And then
I
it was
got
Success Entertainment, and it was,
Right.
all of those things. So all of my words, even though success is such a, a great word,
Yeah, absolutely. Positive.
for me, it was hip hop.
Right.
And I had to
attached to a certain part of your life.
And I had to get over all of that to the point of where I was finding myself this past year because I just turned 50.
Me too. Congrats.
there you go.
Yeah.
So between 49, that year, 49 to 50, when I tell you, it's crazy how much things shifted, things changed, and I feel like some of it came back to where it should have been.
Okay.
I became loyal to myself, and I'm
Can you
super
break that out? Can you break that out a little bit? Because I want people to understand it. Because before you break it out, I just want people, it might sound selfish, but there's a lot of sayings. There's like, you can't pour from an empty cup. There's a lot of sayings, but the reason for that saying is kind of where you're going. And I want people to understand that.
Yeah, and it is selfish.
Okay.
I say I'm positively selfish.
Okay.
Because I think, and especially with a person like me, I am a servant leader. I am a empath, right? Empath, kind of, if people don't know, it's kind of like, I'll take Omar's feelings. I want to speak to him, and I'll take all of that hurt because I know how I can get rid of it, and I want to make sure you're good. And that's my life, right? And then think about as a manager, representative, anything. I have to make sure that the client is right. They got to be good.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for everybody else. I'm always taking these lights and shining on everybody.
Right.
I had to look at me.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? Right? And if you know me, again, being 50, I've deposited into the universe. I've deposited into karma. I am a private client of the universe. They know me when I walk. Oh, Mike.
Come through. Come
right
through.
here.
Pull up. Yeah.
Because I know who I am. And the analogy that I've used a lot is the light bulb, right? So I feel like God made me to be a 100-watt light bulb. Okay. And I feel like I was only shining at 60.
Okay.
Right?
You hadn't reached potential yet.
Exactly.
Okay.
And because I was scared. Because, and not scared for me, scared for everybody around me, because I didn't want to outshine people.
Okay.
Because I am team.
Right.
And I'm loyal to everybody. And now the focus is going to be on me. If I'm even a step ahead of, even though it's team, I'm we. And it was like, damn, but what about me? And some people, because we live in the world, you can't be selfish. No, you have to be selfish. But there's levels to that.
Right.
Selfish of, I don't care about anything. And I'm not saying that.
Not selfish at the cost of others.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And that's what I had to learn. And my journey, and I found my purpose. I understand who I am, what I am. I learned something at 49. I was speaking with somebody, and they're 35 years old. They were like, "Oh wow, Mike, it's great to know that you're 49 and you still learning." And I'm like, "Yeah." And for me, I'm from a human element. I don't have to be doing business with. I work from a human element. So if I can help a 35-year-old man learn something that I learned at 49, that's a win for me. And I'm not coming back to be like, "Hey, remember when I taught?" So really understanding my purpose this year is just game-changing, bro.
Help realign you?
Bro, it's like I feel so different, and people see the difference. I don't know, like, it's hard to explain.
Okay.
But I'm just in my pocket, and I'm comfortable. I'm confident with who I am. I know what I am, and I know where I'm at this moment. And that was all changing. And it was a lot. It was a lot this year.
Yeah.
A lot. When I tell you, even with my family, me and my mom are like this. I'm close to my family. And last summer, it was kind of like, I got to stay away from everybody.
Oh, can I say this, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong? You were like on a recharge tour. You ever heard of that? Because sometimes, like me and my wife, we talk about this a lot, energy, and sometimes I tell her, look, you gotta pull away to recharge, because you can only be around certain people for a certain amount of time. Because some people, and I hope people see this, be like, who you fucking talking about me? I'm like, if the shoe fits, right? If they're simply there to like come and complain to you, or simply there to just take and take and take, going to that. Sometimes you got to be like aware and be like, oh, okay, so I got to protect myself a little bit. Not to say they're bad, because they don't know they're doing it, because that's who they are. Yeah. Right? But you as an empath also have to be aware of that, right?
1,000%. And with that, when I go back like to my mom, it wasn't so much about being away from her. It was more about being more so with me.
Okay.
Like it was that, when you break up with somebody, hey, it's not you, it's me. It literally was that. Okay. And I had to, and I told my mom, I'm like, listen, I never forget having this conversation, and it was emotional for her.
Right, you're her son, yeah.
Right, absolutely. And I'm like, Ma, please don't take this personal. I know it's difficult. I said, but I got to figure out me, and right now I don't know what that looks like. This may be, on a 1 to 10. This might be a 10, and that's all I know. I'm still learning this new version of myself. It'll balance itself out, but right now I can't be around anybody. I got to focus on Mike. And nothing to do. I can't, literally. And then, sure enough, you start to understand what it is. It was just like I had to kind of go 100. Okay, then I'll dial back to 65. Okay. Right? I just needed to know what this is.
Well, question for you. So, was it that you had to pay attention to certain aspects of your life, and like to a point where you had to really pay attention, really maximize, and at that point, sometimes like people use balance, and I don't really believe in that word too much. I believe in harmony, meaning there's certain parts of your life that will need more attention at certain points in your life, right? And it's just like, all right, you're going to school, you're a student, right? You got to be a student, you got to learn. Why? Because when you go on the street or life, you're gonna have to you have to use whatever you learned to kind of navigate this, right? Was it that? Was it like you were realigning, kind of figuring out, all right, so this is what I want to be, is where I want to go, and this is what it's going to take, and now let me focus on that for a minute?
I think for the places that I wanted to go, for sure, right? Okay. And it was just like, bluntly, I'm tired of thinking everybody else.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And I think my father-in-law had passed, and he was 72, 73, something like that. And it clicked for me too. It's like, damn, that's only 20 some odd years for me.
Right.
And I was like, am I gonna live my life not complaining, but living for everybody?
Right.
I gotta be me. I gotta get into my bag on who Mike is and be the best version of Mike.
Right.
Because that helps everybody around me. So if I shine at 100, it's gonna help you because maybe your light is dim. So maybe those extra 40 that I wasn't using helps you.
Yeah, it
but
illuminates them. Yeah.
Right, but at the end of the day, I gotta do me. I gotta be like the example I was using too was I'm LeBron in the fourth quarter, prime LeBron, even now LeBron.
Miami.
Right,
Yeah,
right. But it's the fourth quarter. Give me the ball. Yeah. I'm not passing to J.R. Smith. I'm not doing that.
I'm the number one option right now.
Because that's gonna help my team, and and it really took me a minute to think like that. And I think because when you have people that don't think like that, they become insecure. And it's like, all right, I want to be around. I want to be the guy. I want to be around. Omar feels like he's the guy. I rock with Omar because he's not gonna be insecure because I'm in the room.
Right.
I'm gonna be me, and I'm not gonna sit there and like, again, like something like Tupac said, you can't dim your light because of other people's insecurities.
No, and that also, listen, and I'm interjecting. I'm sorry, but
no,
that only helps. Like guys who really want to get it. Like I work real estate, mortgages, media.
Yeah.
I'm the number one option, right? So I'm the biggest producer, and I'm not saying that to detract from the team. Shout out to the team, but sometimes they need to see that because they have their own limiting mindsets, right? Yeah. So they're like, yo, we can't make more than $1 million a year. No, we get, and then I do it, and they're like, oh shit, he's just like me, or maybe he's just like me, meaning he's Latino. He comes from where I come from. His work ethic is different.
Yeah.
His discipline is different. Maybe I could grab a little bit of that. Maybe it'll inspire you because at a certain point in my career, I was kind of like putting the team first.
Yeah.
And then I saw my numbers fall off the cliff. And it's not to shit on them. It's just they're not ready yet. They're not ready to do that yet. And that's okay. But I had to come back and be like, all right, not take it personal, not get upset about it. Be like, all right, because, when money's off, everybody get mad. So you're like, what's happening? What am I doing? I had to have a reflection moment myself. I said, look, man, you got to be who you are. And while they're doing their thing, they can come and be like, hey, man, how do I do this? How do that? And you can help them. But if you take away from being who you are, that's what attracted them to you in the first place. Right? Like if somebody comes to you for management, I mean, it's a bigger conversation. Like I see a lot of you guys younger, you might fill a void for certain father figures and stuff like that. But speaking man to man, how to be a man is a big conversation, right? And what kind of man? Right? And people see media, they think this is funny, that's what. Yeah, but when the chips are down, when shit is hot, when shit is falling apart, what kind of man are you? Are you walking into the fire or are you running away? And it becomes that conversation. Do you feel that with a lot of your clients? Like they come to you for some sort of guidance too?
Yeah.
I mean, because most of them have like whatever that special thing is.
Yeah.
And then there's the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do I navigate the rest of my life?
Yeah, no, it's natural because of who I am as a person. Like I said, I always lead from a human element.
Right.
Any new client or anything like that, even I have some that are within the past 2 years, right? And it was led with humanization. It wasn't led with transaction.
Right.
It wasn't your numbers and nah, I don't move like that.
So let's break it down for the viewers so that like obviously everybody wants to. This is a good space, right? Influencing is very popular right now, so it's a good time. So what does somebody bring to you, or how do you dissect or rather qualify who would be a good fit as a client?
Yeah. Well, right now, in all honesty, I'm looking. I would love to find new managers. Like I'm in that aspect. I'm in like my OG phase. This book kind of did that, and it's like I would love to have more managers so I can help them, and then spread like that.
More Pat Riley.
Exactly.
Yeah, more Pat Riley. I got you. You need Pat Riley phase. I got you.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's funny. My mom used to ask me this, like, what is it? How many followers? And it's not that. It's to me, it's energy.
Okay.
And it's timing.
Well, how did they get on your radar? Right? Because that's gonna be a question. Right?
Well, it's usually word of mouth.
Okay.
Somebody says, and because that's how it happened with me. I started with Chiclet, and we had Chiclet Millenni, and then I started working with, getting some deals with, I met Ken Stars, and then Commodore.
He's funny. Ken Stars funny.
Oh yeah. No, and that's kind of like what happened. It kind of grew like that, and then what happened is that it was no longer, hey, he's Chicle Millennium's manager. Oh, that's Mike. Like I was starting to build
you
a
started
name for
carving
myself.
out your name.
Right.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
people know how I move because it's from that personal element.
Okay.
It's very Jerry Maguire, second half of his.
More quality.
Not the
right.
beginning Jerry.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how it is. And I'd have conversations with people and, oh, well, I don't have that many followers. I'm like, it doesn't matter. What are you trying to do? Because if you have 10 million followers and you're like, I'm just trying to get this bread, I'm good. Doesn't do anything for me.
Okay.
You can have 500 followers and, there's something there and you want to do something, then I would have a conversation. Now in this phase, I don't know if I can do that anymore so much.
You don't have that
like
type
I
of
can't
time,
be in the
that
studio.
bandwidth, right?
I can't be in the studio anymore creating the demo.
Okay, you're on the streets.
I'm
deals.
here and it's like, how do we plug and play? I can help you. I'm career based, right? I want you to understand that you have a career. That's who I want to work with, people that get that.
Okay.
Right? And understand that there is a career here.
Well, most kids just want the bag, right?
Right.
So how do you get that message across? Like, be like, guys, the bag is good, but you want longevity, right?
Yeah. And sometimes, the thing is that we're living in a world that everybody sells, right? So some people talk my talk, but it's just talk.
Right.
Until the money gets involved and they're like, hey, But for me, I hear that and I tell them, I may not be a right fit, right? Or if I see that there's something there, I'll say, hey, we can do a non-exclusive situation. My paperwork literally could be on a Post-it for that. Non-exclusive, can I put you on the roster? If I have something, I'll holler at you.
Okay.
Manages the expectations. And I do a lot more of that because when I get involved, I'm involved. Right? Sometimes to a fault.
Right.
Sometimes to a fault.
And it takes time, bro. Like people understand sometimes that like I've done deals for people that I've saved them $600,000-$700,000 in tax liability, right? But because they didn't get hit with the bill, it's not valued that much.
Yeah.
And it took me a certain type of time to process them. Be like, yo, man, you know what? It's their fault, not yours. Because obviously ignorance is bliss, right? So and if you lead in this world by giving more than you're getting, you should be all right with it. And that's a conversation I had with myself. I was like, yo, man, just let it rock. It is what it is. It is really, right?
I used to get upset about a lot of stuff, right? And, I speak about Chicle so much. He helped because it's not just business, right? He's my nephew. He's my nephew through marriage, and, he's probably one of my best friends, right? 19 years younger than me, and we just, he's amazing, right? It helps me with some stuff. Right. And there's certain things because he knows me very well. Okay. Right, and he'll be like, Mike, why are you so? You did what you had to do. Don't let it sit with you because that's what happens. The empath in me. It's like I'm learning how to, all right, maybe it sits with me. It's almost like when the Yankees lose. Right, it used to be years ago.
The whole week was fucked up,
but now it's like, you know what? All right,
I mean, they're all millionaires. They'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta be fine too.
Exactly. Yeah. But this space. That's why I think, as far as the book, there was no guidance. It's going back to that, and not to kind of segue into the book, but that's literally why the book was made, because I don't think anybody has any guidance. There may be content creator books out there, but not on the bare minimum. And then chapter 7 in that book speaks about the business etiquette, the punctuality, things that books aren't going to tell you.
Respecting each other's time.
Right.
That's a long fucking lost art.
Right. And then Ash brings the finance aspect of it as far as for what to do when you get to this point, right? And it's just like, that's to have a product or a body of work that embodies who I am is great. It's great, and again, like I told you, even off camera, it's all about humans, bro.
Right.
Human element. We don't have enough people. We got enough people worrying about transactions.
Yeah.
When are we going to start worrying about each other?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think we were talking off camera. I'll bring it up again. The metric, right? The metric is kind of how you measure something. And the metric of being a good human is one thing. And then sometimes the metric of business is business. And even me, right? Like I'm in sales, right? We get paid transactional.
Right,
so I might love some of the guys that work for me, but we have those uncomfortable conversations, and they're like, "Yo, what do you think?" I'm like, "I think you suck. I think you have to, whatever you're doing, go the other way. Like, and I'm not saying like use it. I'm just saying I think your technique, your approach sucks, man. And if you think you're doing enough, your numbers will tell you. Right. What are your numbers telling you? I was like, that's the metric. It's not about personal. You want to hang out. That's one thing. I'm always gonna be, like when I have time, I'm always gonna want to be that human. But if you're asking me, yo, you think I could feed my family? Well, let's look at your numbers. And it becomes that simple. Yeah. So what have you done to get these numbers, right? And if the numbers are great, do more of that, right? If the numbers are not good, okay, what am I doing too much of that I should change, right? Do you have those conversations too? You have many different metrics with your clients, your influencers. Like they want a lot of followers, one thing, they want brand deals, but don't you have to bring certain type of value?
Of course,
right? Well, that becomes the conversation, right?
Of course, I've had clients. Hey, I want to work with bigger brands.
Right.
I'm like, I hear you.
Yeah, me too.
And I want you to do that too. But let's look at your brand and what it is.
Right.
Some brands don't want to align with that or this or that. You got, and again, we're talking about an art form, right? This is your creativity. So I never want to tell you what to do.
You don't want to influence their creativity,
right?
I get you.
You do what you want to do.
Right.
My job is to tell you the real from a business standpoint.
And how you're going to monetize it. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's what people want.
Yeah, from a management side, right? Like, so I always tell people the manager worries about your career and the agent worries about the moment, right?
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know what the difference is, right? Because I've had clients be like, I'm like, yo, you need to get an agent. You know what I mean? And they're like, but isn't that what you do? I'm like, in the beginning, yeah, but you're at a point where you need to have
somebody finding opportunities for you, right?
You need an agent. You know what I mean? I'm worried about the career. I'm worried about the deal that the agent brings. Okay, does it make sense and stuff like that?
Right. How are we going to maneuver it?
Right. Exactly. But yeah, you got to have those conversations because, again, I have to keep it a buck. Because if not...
Well, that's where it gets tricky, brother, because that's where people get in their feelings. And you're like, listen, like going back to what I said, we're cool. There's no beef. But if you're going to ask me a real question, I'm an asshole if I don't really answer. Right. And then it is my fault because you'll be, I never knew. I'm like, no, we had this conversation a few times. Right. And I'm trying to, the funny tactic is, right, as you become like the head of your table is that you got to find different ways to send the same message. Right. Like you got
that's a great manager.
Yeah.
Whether it's
18 different languages, whatever, like different punctuation, different, whatever tonality, whatever, because sometimes they just don't fucking hear you. Right. So I'm sure as a manager, you're like, all right, do you go back, like, we spoke about this last week, or be like, well, let's look at it this way. Right? Remember last week you talked about this, and then we bring it, like, you kind of segue it? Is that kind of how you...
Well, see, like, I'm so real, bro. It's like, I'm like, my man, whatever. I'm like, I told you, right? And I'll be so real. Like, I'll go so, if a client says, hey, Mike, I'm thinking about this, and let me not say shred it. I'll just be like, this is what I feel, And at the end of that, I'll be like, but if you want to do it, my job is to help you facilitate it.
Right.
I always say I'm in the presenting business. I'm not in the convincing business. I'm not going to convince you to do anything.
Right.
This is your career. This is what you got to do. I'm riding shotgun. Right. I don't even got the gas pedal and the brakes on my side.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you out.
I'm just here to point around.
Right. That's what I do.
Does, right.
And if you don't like that, then maybe you're not for me, and that's okay too. And I've realized that too. I'm not always.
Did you realize that now at 50, or is that something that?
I probably realized that through this 4950.
Okay.
When I went through these different changes in my life, and I just restructuring and when I restructured, I came back and I started speaking to clients, and I was like, hey, listen, look, this is what's happening, but if you want to rock with me like this, it has to be this way.
Okay.
Because I was protecting my energy. It wasn't about like, hey, I'm a dictator. But I put a lot of time and effort into things, and I want to make sure that comes back.
Yeah.
And I want to manage the expectations. That's why, hey, we can be manager client, or you can be, I can rep you. I can, like I said, a non-exclusive.
So you have two different relationship, I guess, channels, right? Pillars. You'd be like, all right, exclusive or not exclusive. So what's the major difference? I mean, not exclusive is kind of easy. It's like if I find you a deal, we'll rock. If I don't, you find one that's great.
Right.
Now, what does an exclusive deal mean?
The exclusive deal is where, we have these conversations and have strategy sessions. What are we doing? What are you trying to go? Hey, I want to be here. Okay, how do we get there? And it's just kind of like, how do we build upon your career? This is what we're doing.
You're looking at the end goal, so now you're trying to build the path,
how are we doing that? And how are we doing it? And I can only go based off of you. I can have a bunch of ideas because I'll go in sometimes. I'll be creating decks and be like,
Right. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
But I've also realized I can only do what you want.
What about when you see a lot of potential? Do you find yourself like excited, like, yo, man, we got to do this, like, and then sometimes you get disappointed, of course, and sometimes you get surprised.
Yeah, it's tough. There's probably one or two out there that the potential, and I'm like, damn, and I be trying.
Yeah.
And it's not even like they're, if I had something for them, if I said, hey, I got money for you, it's, I'm sure
They'll pull up.
Yeah, but it's like there's so much more there, and that's what I also have to learn to not stress it so much.
Well, I see online that you have a relationship with Planes, with Duce. What other brands do you have relationships with?
Ethica, we're about hopefully lean in a little bit more.
Okay.
I mean Blue Chew, which is
Blue Chew is the Viagra for the young.
Yeah. So
did you bring some?
No, we've been dealing with them for years.
Okay.
Fashion Nova, I've been dealing with a lot. I'm trying to think of warm, G-Shock. The warm relationships that we have.
You have a biker kid on your thing.
O-Blocks.
What does he do? Like, I mean, I've seen but I don't really understand.
Yeah, O-Blocks is dope. He's a good kid from the Bronx. He's a street biker.
Right.
Does he's incredible.
Okay, but that's the thing. He does like a sport.
Yeah. Well, he like for me, and this may be biased, but he runs like the New York City bike. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's been rocking with Ethica and bunch of throne bikes. He has his own bike. Like he's just in that community, and he's a good person. You see what I'm saying? And O-Blocks is somebody that I just found.
How? Online?
Scrolling, I saw. I think he had done something with like a Air Max or something. I think
like Nike.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot what it was, and I was like, oh, it's a Spanish Puerto Rican kid.
Right.
And I was like, yo, this is fire, and I just kind of scrolled, and then I DM'd him. I was like, yo, I think you dope, bro. And
the chop.
Yeah, and he was like shocked. He was like, yo, you manage Chicle and Millennial.
Yeah, you got some name brands.
And you're coming. I was like, yo, bro, I'm just saying, I just think you dope.
Right.
It's never about anything. Like, I hate to be like, I get that side where you have to have something because I'm at that point where it's like there has to be some sort of substance, but I'm still a fan. And that's also my gift and my curse, right? And I learned that before. I wanted to help everybody.
Yeah.
Like this. I was like, yeah.
There's a saying, if you try to help everybody, you can't help anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what was happening for me. But I take accountability too, and I'll tell people, hey, listen, we shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have done that. My intent was good, but it wasn't doing anything for you. I apologize for that. Like, I just like to be real. I don't like to be like, oh, well, it was because and this. Nah. You know what? I was trying to do too much, so I apologize. Literally, even still, just last week had a conversation about it. Somebody that was working with us, and whatever happened, you know what? It was bad on my part. I said, how about I'm going to take everything, my part.
Yeah.
This is what we should have done. Yes, should have done that. There was no bad intent because I don't want, but I also don't care if anybody talks bad about me either because I know who I am.
So all right. So here's a question because I know you deal with a whole bunch of, like, I was talking to somebody before about this. You got to find your voice to be able to speak to different people, right? And what I deal with is, finance, and for some it's a big concepts, right? Like they're like, oh, buy a house, and I'm like, no, it's really this simple, right? It's how you do it. But sometimes you got to break it down in different ways. Same thing, different ways for them to understand it. The people that I really feel that get it are the people that come from other countries that were told no, you ain't getting shit here, and then they come to America, they bout it. They're like, what we got to do.
Yeah.
But then you got a lot of Americans or people in this country, they're like kind of turned off about it, and they kind of like, they listen to too many people on the internet. They listen to Grant Cardone. They listen to, and I don't have nothing against them. I'm just using his name. Where they're like, oh, you shouldn't buy a house. I'm like, yeah, but you got to live somewhere. I was like, and if you leave your house, and then the whole play with life insurance. I'm like, look, you get a policy in place that'll pay off the house. You leave an asset to your family. They can sell. Like, and now all of a sudden I become a fucking financial advisor, and I'm like, how do they not know this? Now I'm turning this conversation back on you. Like, they'll come to you, be like, yo, I got 1 million followers, da, 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 and this guy hit me up. He was gonna give me like, I don't know, free shirts or something like that. Like you try, because we all get that, right? Oh, well, you want to use our Clear Brain and all those, and you're like, what? No, I don't need to use that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you break that down in terms of like you show them it's not just about the free shirt or free swag, even though that's cool. If you're trying to make a career out of this, you have to treat yourself as a true business person.
Yeah.
Right. So how's that conversation convert?
That's it. Again, like a true manager or head coach, right?
Right.
Every player is different.
Yeah.
And sometimes I got to get in, yo, like B, this, that, third.
Pay attention.
Other one, look, this
Right.
is what it
Different
is.
voice, right.
Yeah, a lot of them don't understand that. They don't understand the business side, right? A lot of them, let's use the urban side, right?
Okay.
Get lit in your community. You come outside. You on whatever. People see views and they equate that with money, and they lit in their circle,
in their
right?
world.
And it's funny. It's funny. I was on another pod. Dope dude, right? We were having a conversation. He's awesome, right? And he goes off camera. We were talking, and he goes, he was like, yo, because bro, I'm lit in my neighborhood.
I'm popping.
And I was like, he was like, yo, but I'm not. He was like, yo, the bank account, you know what I mean? And I said,
It ain't making sense.
I said, yo, lit is the definition. I always say all these words are different definitions for everybody, right?
Right.
I said, what is lit to you? He was like, yo, having money in my account. I said, well, do you have it? He's like, no. I said, so you're not lit. And that's what happens is that social media, like I have a love-hate with it, and it's funny because it's where I make my money.
Right.
But I also feel like I can change and help society.
Absolutely.
Whatever,
especially our communities.
right? With whatever I'm able to, whatever comes into my circumference, right? Because they don't understand, going back to that, the whole business side of things, it's like, yeah, you can have all these followers, but what are we doing, right? And
What's the goal of having them, right? What's the point?
And
right?
you'll have scenarios where people have a lot of following. Oh, I'm getting a free shirt. And if that means something too, that's fine.
Right.
Great.
Right. If that's your definition.
Yeah,
right.
and I've worked deals where I don't get anything.
Free clothes for life for you.
Right.
Yeah.
No problem. But I also have to help them understand what we're doing here, right? The career aspect of it. You're getting this, okay, look at the landscape. Look at what's going on. People think this is your brand now. Like, I'm just using as a hypothetical example. We got to have a conversation about money here, right? A lot of times that happens with new platforms.
Okay.
Hey, you guys have this amount over here. This platform, you can make more money over here.
You talking about like Rumbler and stuff like that?
Anything. Like if Omar has Omar's Instagram, right? And you know what? In Omar's Instagram, I pay $5 million if you get 5 million views. Or
hell yeah.
Right? Oh wow.
Coming over.
Now, Omar's Instagram, everybody there thinks it's the greatest idea in the world, and it is. But now you have to go to somebody that's on regular Instagram,
right, and say, "Come over."
And you're not just dealing with the, hey, you make no money there, you can make 5 million over here. I hear you, but you're dealing with habits. We're creatures of habit as humans.
Absolutely, yeah.
You got to make this transition easy. You can't just say, "Hey, go and this," and I'm telling you, you just got to get that. Please don't just got to get. That's a heavy lift. There's education and there's work involved.
Yeah, you have to convince. You have to convince.
Right.
So show the value to come over.
You got to be able to do that, and that they have to be paid for that.
Right. Bringing the attention
because this is their marketing for you.
Right.
And it's not just about, come over here and you're definitely going to get paid more. But they need the audience over here. And that, who's paying for that?
How do we bring that over? Yeah.
And then, and some people think like, I'm an asshole. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm just bringing the real to you. Because I know in your marketing meetings, it's great. Because I agree with you. I think it's awesome.
Bring the market. It sounds great.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. But what are we doing to get them over here? And it costs. And I can't do it by myself. Even, I'm older. I can sit there and be like, hey, what kind of play can we do here?
One at a time.
Yeah. Even with the book, I'm 1 turns to 2, 2 turns to 4. I don't need this thing. I don't need the book to sell and go crazy. I don't need that.
Right.
I'm building. But I know this platform wants those 5 million people to come over. And it's a matter of I end up becoming sometimes brands managers.
Really?
Because, you got to understand this. There's been times that it's like people are like shocked at what I'm saying.
Really?
Because they're so in their own bubble of we have the greatest idea in the world. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. And I keep telling people.
But nobody's going to know about it.
Right. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And, right? And it's funny, in early stages, Chicle used to, there would be people bringing stuff, and he would be like, Mike, that sounds amazing.
Right.
For them.
For them. Yeah.
Right? What did we get? And again, it's not for me. When I negotiate, it's not always about money.
Right.
It's what are we building here?
What's your major win, right?
Yeah,
Macro
and I
win.
could tell. I could smell out somebody that's bullshitting. Oh, look, if his price is, his price is 10,000, can we get him for 2,500? And because we got 30 of them coming up, or whatever. He'll pay for 30 in advance then.
Right.
Don't tell me because I understand you got to see how one does. You're not gonna do that.
You're gonna do a major investment without seeing some
right, especially if it's new. Now, one of the biggest compliments I got was from another manager talking about Chicle and Mileni. They were like, see, not everybody has a brand like that has staying power. And I was like, see, that to me,
that's the goal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right? Because
she was on a show, right? She did a VH1 show and stuff like that.
The impact, but that's where I want to get people to, right? I had a conversation with another client before, and I said, listen, the relationship I have with Chicle, you will never have that. Ever. It's impossible. For me to tell you we would, it'd be a lie.
Right. Flagrant lie.
But I'm still going to treat you like I would anybody, right? Like personal relationship, it's not going to be there. But I want you to do what you have to do, and I want you to build that. Because, that was the thing. We started at the beginning.
The big thing, though, I think people need to understand this part, and I want to flesh it out for you. You can have a whole bunch of different talent, right? But the talent will be amplified or magnified by you or accelerated, any of those words, right? But the talent has to do the heavy lifting too, right? Well, that becomes the thing. Mike, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. You're like, bro, what are you doing? I posted once today. I'm like, no, it has to be your full-time gig on the left, and it'll be my full-time gig on the right. So we're attacking from two different sides.
Right.
But I think that's where things get kind of misconstrued in business. Well, they're like, yo, you had success with Chicle Malay. Yeah, but are you going to work the way they worked? Because, we could have the same type of business. We can make it work, but not to minimize them or minimize you, but it has to be an equal pulling, right? But that's a part where people just say, if he did, I could do it. Well, you willing to wake up before? Whatever it is that you do, are you willing to do all that? Because if you are, there is a conversation there. If you're not, then you're deluding yourself. Like, how do you have that soft conversation? Like, me, I'll be like, yo, I tell people in my industry, I'm like, yo, if I went to sleep today for 10 years, this is everything you would have to do for 10 years. And when I wake up, we might be there. And if not, I don't think so. Because it takes almost a delusional belief in oneself to push at a certain level, right?
Yeah.
So how do you have that conversation?
Well, what I'm trying to do, because everybody believes themselves, right?
Right.
They sit there and...
But some people believe in it so much that you be like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Other people, you're like, nah, I think you're full of shit, right?
No,
it becomes a thing.
For me, I like I say, I listen to people's actions.
Right.
I get it.
I watch.
And I see, and you have it.
Yeah.
I can only do so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why what I'm doing is I'm showing and proving that a 50-year-old is going to go back to old school, running up on people out the trunk. This is what I'm doing. I'm showing you, and now I'm going to be my new client for me, and it's going to take some time, right? And I'm going to figure it out, but I'm going to show you, because I'm learning to do that too. We come from a just do. You don't got to show anything.
Well, we come from an era where there was no fucking social media.
Right.
So we had to get busy. And believe it or not, and you can attest to it because you're my generation, we didn't want to be on camera, right? There was actually we were doing that. We didn't want to be on camera.
Yeah,
so now this was a contra. This was like a 180 move. We're like, wait a minute. All right, so we got to do this now and talk about it. And so to use myself as an example, I remember the turning point for me in terms of distribution of on social media was I was like, yo, this is the type of client I want to attract. So this is what I have to talk about. And this is what I have to showcase. And this is what I like. And once we did that, things started really taking shape. Because I had to know what I wanted to project because I wanted to know who I wanted to listen to me, right? So you have to use certain words and transact, like, and it becomes the same thing with influencers, right? Like using Chick-fil-A and Millennial, like I think he's a great example hanging out in the house. Like, you know, like a lot of guys that are hanging out, they be like, yo, this is dope, this is what I want to do, right? And they're just consuming, and he has a good demographic. But he also is deeper. He has another side to him. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. And some people will, you know, I don't know, I haven't followed his content like that, but I'm sure there's certain platforms where he is deeper, right? He's realer. I think he was on a show with Spanish, Chris Belleso. They were talking about, you know, mental health and stuff like that, right? So he goes into that. Yeah. But for some people, they just want the sticker, like they want the funny shit.
Yeah.
Right.
It's dope. I don't know if you got a chance to see, but when he speaks about his being sober for a year. Okay. On YouTube, he has Sober 365. Okay. Dope. Yeah. Complete different side of him.
Is that
that I know.
Is that recently?
No. A few months ago. Because I think May is going to be 2 years coming up. Coming May. But that's the side. I've seen that. Yeah. Right. But I like when you're able to see like what you're saying and seeing on pods and stuff like that, because some people just want the funny stuff. And I get it, but it's for anybody, though.
Some people want to be distracted. Other people want to know that, use their empathy and be like, hey, oh shit, other people feel like this, right? Because that becomes a thing, right? Everybody's on these cameras, and the truth of the matter is that as connected as we are, we're actually the most isolated we've ever been, because we don't have to interact. Right. We can just view and become voyeuristic, right? And well, I'm just using that as almost like a behavior pattern check, because that's what I see, right? Yeah. That's what I see. I had one guy hit me up, yo, he was out, you want to be on the pod? I was like, all right, cool, this is where I'm at. Oh, that's kind of far. Can you come to me? I was like, oh, hold on. I was like, you want me to produce it, this and that, and come to you? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, celeb. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, now you asking a little too much. Now look at what you're asking, right? Like, and, you know, excuse my language, who the fuck are you? Right? Like, what did you do that?
Listen, and that's the thing, and I'll use me as an example with that, right? Yes. There was somebody, my guy, shout out to Steve Wells. I don't know if you know him. He does the One Train Cyphers, and he's Russ, the artist, is videographer. Okay. Steve is probably one of the first, I call him the day one videographer for Chick-fil-A Millennial. Okay. But I was doing this, you know, giving these books out. It's about the creator economy. Yeah. It's not just about the influencer. Right. Right? So, and that's what I wanted to show, and he, you know, he's a successful videographer. So he was deep in Brooklyn. And I was like, all right. He was like, nah, Mike, I'll let you know once I'm in. I said, bro, you're doing me a favor.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'm coming to you. And I do that. I reach out to pods too. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who my clients are. I don't reach out and say, hey, I manage, you know, and put this list of whatever. And if you have me out, and if you have me on your pod, I'll see if I can get them. Like I don't.
You're not baiting, right? That's a word, baiting. Right?
I don't leverage. This is me now. Mm-hmm. You want me? Great. You don't? I get it. Because again, I know where I am. It's kind of like if you're talking about clients and what I've done, here.
Mm-hmm. I have my resume.
Author?
Check me out. Here.
Mir?
Just started. Yeah.
And
hit me up on Amazon.
And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that, because I was having a conversation and I was like, I had to check myself though too. I was like, I'm literally starting from the bottom, and I was like, I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm not, because to be able to have the support of these clients.
You have social proof. Right.
So that it's like, you know, somebody had said, damn, you're getting all these people to collab with you and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, these are my people. So that's all I asked for. And even with that, when I do things, I'm like, hey, listen, when I post it, I'm going to collab with you. If you want to accept, cool. If not, I understand that you may have some things for your I'm cool. Yeah. Could you share it to your stuff? Whatever. But I don't get mad if they don't. Mm-hmm. Because I understand.
Listen, because at the end of the day, you're doing it because you want to do it, not because you're expecting anything. Right. But that's the thing, brother. Like this whole generation lately has been kind of a little different. Like, oh, what are you gonna do for me? Like, yo, I did it for you already. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and going back to that conversation I had with the other guy, I was like, listen, man, I understand, I respect you. I thought it'd be cool. If I'm that area, yeah, I'll make it happen. But I can't carve out my whole day and move my whole studio. Like, that's a big thing. It's a big lift, right?
Nah, I just think it's crazy when people ask.
Yeah.
When people ask for something and
they ask like, more.
Can you Bro, I was ready to go to Danbury for a pod.
Were you? All right.
Yeah, because listen, I don't care if a pod has one view or a gazillion views, right? If you're doing it, if it looks presentable, like you're taking it seriously,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Have you ever been to a podcast where you're like, what the fuck is this?
Um,
You don't gotta put nobody else.
no. Yeah, just they needed help.
Okay.
Needed help.
So they just didn't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, it is what it is. And
Yeah, you're like, all right.
yeah.
Fix the lighting.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, bro, everybody's chasing bread. And they, they see these 9-figure pod deals, and it's just like, at the end of the day, I'll always be grounded.
Well, you have something going on with the Pod Listener Network,
yeah, we
right?
have Listener
You want to
Network.
talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Our partner John Rios, he's running that.
Okay.
So
Big
I'm there, and I lend my support. We did this together, but it literally when we had, with the restructuring of the business, he was like, "Yo, I want to do the pod." I was like,
that part.
"Go ahead," because at that point, and I tell everybody, if he doesn't do that, I'm like, "Yo, I'm not doing it."
Right, it's gonna die
because I got to focus on this.
Yeah.
So now it's dope, and it's been such a shift, and everything that my goal was for it and wanted to do it, he's doing it. Beautiful. And I'm not saying what he's doing is my idea. I'm saying,
but he's executing, right?
Oh, and that's why he, that's my man.
That's my
man before all of this. But he has the structure, he has the organization, and I think he's doing an amazing job with it because, like I said, I tell all of them, I'm like, yo, when John wasn't here, this was not what it is. You didn't speak to me, and a lot of them, like now, I speak to them or whatever, and I'll be on certain calls, and do the marketing side of things for me. But that's all.
It's John.
Yo, talk to John. That's aisle 7.
Yeah,
I'm over here.
I'm aisle 5.
Yeah, go over there, and which is great. You know what I mean? And it's still building because it's still new. It's still new, but it's awesome. I love it. I love having, I need more of that for me, right?
You need good teammates, right? Good teammates.
Good leaders.
Yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like, that's why, like, John and I have a personal relationship and a business relationship, and it's just like we understand it.
Right.
There is no...
Because you can switch it, right?
Yeah.
The personal part and the business part.
Yeah.
Well, that takes maturity.
Yeah.
That takes maturity.
No, 100%. 100%, but that's because we're older, you know what I mean?
Right.
And experienced and seasoned. And
probably taking some L's. And
of course.
Understand.
Of course. We've taken L's together in the short period of the business side. Right. And, it's good to have somebody that understands, and, he'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, hey, what do you think? He'll be like, and we keep it a buck with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and we're good with that. With yo, bro, I appreciate you, or hey, you killing it right now.
Yeah.
We don't have that a lot. So.
Well, I mean, look, I know you've had different manifestations and different structurals and partners and stuff like that. What would you say has been maybe one of your biggest mistakes in a relationship, in a business? I think we talked about on camera. I'll go first, right? Like when I gave you the story about the liquor store in '99, I opened a store with two friends, and the deal was this. I put up all the money. I also put sweat equity in. There's a lot I put in, and my understanding was, hey man, let me get this initial seed money out, and we're equal. I think I told you, they saw the holiday rush. They thought I was a billionaire already in like 2 months, and I'm like, yo guys, that's not how it works. And so I had to break off 2 of my closest friends that I came up with for a long time. But now that I think about it, I could see my mistake because I've always been in the friendship part of it. I was always the guy who took care of it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But then they took, and now I'm telling, but this is my last whatever number, right? And this, I could use this for anything. I could have bought a house. I could, whatever. But I'm choosing to do this with you. I want to know that I'm going to get it back. Somehow there was a disconnect there, and they got it confused. They got the friendship Omar saying, "Yo, I got you." Right? Like if somebody called me, "Yo, I got you." Don't worry. If I have it, you got it. But then if we're saying, "Hey, man, this is supposed to grow into something else," and we're measuring it, like this is what we're starting with. This is what we're going to end with, like, and this is how everybody's supposed to feed their family. Going back to that conversation. It just didn't go well. It didn't translate well. Have you ever had a situation like that?
Yeah. I mean, mistakes for me is very similar, meaning I get too emotional, and I always want to build with my friends, and I always want to, what I want to do is I want to, you know, if I have a conversation with about something, yo, we should build this company together. You don't have to do that.
Right.
Me and you can still work together, but we don't have to have a company. My company can work with your company, and we can get busy.
Right.
I always wanted it together, like, hey, all of us. And sometimes it's not. People aren't built for that. Sometimes, meaning, you know, even me, right? Because I think it was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like I've been in situations where I just want to work, right? I don't.
Define that.
I just want to do my job.
Right. I want to come here. I want to do my thing, get paid. That's
whatever that is. And sometimes, like in the very beginning, especially with this, when it was music and stuff like that, I don't even need to get paid. I just want people to know that I did that.
Right.
Don't give me any money. I'm starting to build, like I always say, build the brand first, then the business. I just wanted to build Mike's brand. Oh, Mike did that. So that, now you know, because I'm comfortable in any room, right? I can make relationships. Oh, Mike did. Okay. So that later, now it makes sense. I'm not immediately, you know, it's not a job. Hey, I clocked in for 4 hours. I got to get paid for 4 hours. And that kind of wasn't happening sometimes. And it was like, I was like, all right, if we're going to let's do it together so that at least I'm part of whatever we're doing, right? Even if I was the head, it was just weird for me, bro. Like, very, again, going back to this transition, figuring out myself. Like I said, I get too emotional. I get too, I'm a super half full. I'm super positive. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And he's great. You know, they're great. We can do it. And you got to give some time before you start to see what's what. Right. You know what I mean? And
going back to what you said, you meant to say, I watch what you do, not what you say. And you got to give that. So like, me personally, I made mistakes where like they're like, yo, I want to do this. I'm like, come on. And then you're like, yo, bro, it's not. You'll never get there at this pace. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta go. And they're like, oh, I gotta. Yeah, you gotta.
No, but what I'm saying is that when I do that, when I say listen to your actions, it's literally that. That fucking speaks volumes. What you talk about, especially now for me, for mine, you could talk all day. Cool, I get it, and I'm with you. Let's go.
Let's talk.
But what are you doing? Because it's not immediate. People talk, and it's just like, you know, I've shortened my leash when it comes to that. Yeah, and then it gets to a point. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Are we not ready to do this? Can you not do this? Right. And that's fine too.
And just be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing, and that's me. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna tell you, hey, could you do? Probably. I don't know. Maybe not. I can see. And even now, sometimes I have such a filter now that I want to help everybody, right? But if somebody asks me for, hey, could you do blah, 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 that might be second or third generation help where I'm like, oh, you know, now this becomes my job. And it's just like, you know what? Let me try to plug. If I have that, right, go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't need anything.
Right.
Just,
right.
Same thing with certain money situations. Do I really want to do this for an extra $1,000 a month? Like,
yo, man, you mentioned that. I had a situation where I was going back to financial literacy. I had put somebody on, got him an extremely good deal, and my cut was like 20%, and I'm just use numbers like the cut was like $2,000 a month, and I'm like, okay, but what I noticed was, luckily the guy ended up playing himself, doing something that released me, right, which is fine. But then I was thinking about, I was like, yo, man, all money ain't good because, yo, the amount of fucking bandwidth this shit took. And now I'm thinking about the numbers. Like, I'm making $1 million on this side. I'm fucking bugging out with $24,000 a year. I'm like, fuck out of here. Good luck, right? Okay. Take it and run. Like, go, do your thing. But that takes a certain amount of self-awareness also, right? Yeah. Because most people, it's this, it's my money, Yo, bro, like, that money, don't let it chain you because you become a victim of what they call the golden cage. Like, for 2000, like, the amount of like mental stress, like, it's not worth it.
That's what it is for me now.
Right. Yeah.
In the beginning, building the company, it's like, take anything.
Every dollar
it all adds up.
Yeah.
I hear you. It does all add up, but does that 500, that 1,000, that, you know, whatever, 1,500, whatever it is, I could be doing a lot more with my time to make more than that.
Right. Right. And happy.
Right.
Yeah. That becomes a thing too.
Yeah, because a lot of times in my situations, it's really staying on top of people.
Right.
For whatever that is. I could put a play together, and then it's like, okay, if it's a 6-month deal, I'm like, I gotta, damn, is this person really
I'm married
be,
for 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, rather than let me put something together. All right, cool. I'm over here.
I'll see you later.
I'll see you later. Yeah, that type of stuff. So
EFT, ACH, wire me over there. I'll
yeah,
be fine.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just had a situation where I was talking to somebody else, and I was like, yo, we have put this together, and nothing crazy. Okay. And I was like, I said, I think I'm just gonna plug them, and it's not worth it. Yeah. And my man was like, I'm with you. You know, like,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, because sometimes it's like when you're in the deals with other people, it's like I'm honest with how I feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, are you cool with that? Yeah, cool. You know, because like I said, the stress and the energy is just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I think you can only really talk about that stuff when you've been through it, right? Because going back to when you start, anything. $10, I'm in. Yep. I'm there. Like, it's costing you $30 to get there. I don't care. I'm making $10.
Yeah.
But as you get some sort of perspective, you're like, all right, hold on. It's gonna cost me $30 to make 10, so I'm net negative 20. Mm-hmm. You know, like, nah, it doesn't make sense. And the plug directly, good luck. If you want to pay me, that's cool. If not, okay. Yeah. Like, I when it comes to banking, right? So I'm a banker. Like, my company, HRN, funds deals directly. Mm. And I'll tell guys to come because they'll come in and they'll be like, the fee, I'm just using arbitrary numbers. The fee's $10,000. I want $9,000. I'm like, why would I even look at this for $1,000? I was like, look, go there. If it gets destroyed, come back and we'll talk about real numbers because, come on, bro. What do you want me to do? Like, I'm giving you the plug or where I would go. Do you think? And some people find it weird. Some people are like, oh, you're not fucking with me. I'm like, the money's doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. I was like, yo, I have other deals that are 7-figure deals. I can't deal with this $1,000. And I'm putting you on where you should go. This is where I would go. Like, some people look at me funny. They're like, they think I'm lying to them or setting them up. I'm like, nah, man, I'm really putting you on. Yeah. Do you ever feel that way? Like, do you ever get that? Like, why don't you want to be involved? And I'm like, yo, the numbers just don't make sense for me.
Nah, but you know what it is, bro? In my industry and a lot of people, talent likes that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when talent likes that, I know it's more like that's why they wouldn't be a management client for me. Because when you look at management as a fee that you have to pay, you're not.
Management is a fee you pay for opportunity.
Right.
And let me put that on camera for you because I want them to understand that. There's people that will never approach them directly, but because of you and who you work with and what you've built and your integrity, they'll say, you know what, I'll give them a shot. And that money that they'll never be able to metric, going back to my story about saving $630,000, they won't understand that because it wasn't taken.
Yeah.
But because they were given the opportunity, they start feeling themselves, yo, I'm the shit. Like, nah, man, I put you on. But it's cool. You know, good luck. Ignorance is bliss. Like I always say, like, yo, go ahead, man, do your thing. Hope you get another one. And, eventually they'll see they don't. And then, it just becomes self-fulfilling.
Yeah, people just don't understand the management game either, too. I've had people ask me and be like, oh, what's your fee? And I'm like, I only get money if you get money.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. Somebody said that they would manage me and it would cost this amount a month. I said, it's not a manager.
Yeah.
That's a consultant. And I do that.
Yeah.
If you need me to do that. Like I tell everybody, like, I can't manage you. I can consult. I do it on Modi. Like, seriously, like, that's go over there. Yo,
book the time.
Knock yourself out.
And here's the plug for Modi.
Yeah, exactly.
If you need me to talk to you about anything, consulting, Modi app.
Yeah, no, but seriously, that's what it is. But like management, like, when you're okay with giving up a percentage of what it is so that somebody handles everything for you, you're ready for a manager. If you're sitting there being like, damn, if I make $1,000, I'm gonna give them $200. You're not ready. If you're still having that conversation, if you don't look at it as helping you, rather than if you don't look at a manager as a positive, rather than a negative.
You have two people pulling instead of one. Yeah. It's very simple, right? Two people can pull twice as much. It's very simple math. Like that's the way they should look at it. But now if they've got millions and billions of dollars on their own, all right, maybe you don't need nobody, right? Yeah. But if you're trying to break into different markets and stuff, and people act, like doors you can't get in by yourself.
Yeah.
That's why managers are important. Like, they're gonna represent you. They have a pedigree. They can speak the business talk.
Right.
Some guys don't.
Right. And also it's a posturing. Like Ash, I manage Ash, right? Ash.
I am Ash Cash.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Ash.
I'm just plugging everybody today.
Yeah. Ash can negotiate
anything himself.
He he does this, right? But he knows it's different when it's the person, right? It's like you know, I know Ash for over 15 years, and now we're working together. So he loves having somebody that he trusts. He said that, I've had other people try to be in these positions. It just didn't work, you know. But the way I move, I literally, again, he was one of the conversations. He told me, Mike, I want to do all this, and I was like, I think about this, that. But again, Ash, at the end of the day, whatever you want to do, I'm here, right? And I think those relationships, it's a relationship. It's not just, it can't be just transactional. It can't be just transactional. At least the way I move.
No, I get it, but the relationship can lead to money.
100%.
Will that be? Well, that's the part I think people have to hear, because transaction. Oh, what's a transaction? Yeah, but transactions are finite, and there's no fucking real connection.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, if I have a relationship with you, and I'm gonna make, I'm just using numbers, 100,000, and I'm cutting, and you're my manager, and you're getting paid 20%. I'm just making that up. I don't know what he gets paid. I put that out there because people are like, oh, you get 20%. Omar said that, and you're getting 20,000. I got to be all right with that, because I'm like, all right, Mike, we got this one. Try to get another one, and I'll see you. Let me go back to what I'm doing, because that's really how it works, right? Like, you got to go back to your main thing. Most people don't understand. Like, I believe that you find your superpower, you become great at that, and everything grows from that, right? But you got to know what your shit is. Like, what's your real superpower? It's not everything. Nobody has that superpower of everything, right? Like, you can be great at one thing and then build around that.
Yeah.
And a manager can help you grab more opportunities while you're working on your main thing.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll use Rockefeller. Rockefeller, they had one of the greatest, if not the greatest MC of all time. From that, they built the clothing brand. They did this, did that. But when he pulled, you saw where it all went, right? Like, so had he stopped singing, that'd been problems. Like, going back to LeBron. LeBron, his Maverick says, his job is to win. We do everything else.
Yeah.
As long as he's winning, he's relevant, and we get all these opportunities. If he stops winning, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just using those two analogies because I want people to really understand that. Like,
yeah, and I want to bring something else to that, and I'll use that 100,000 example that you used. You know, as you're building, and I might have to speak to the camera for this one.
Go ahead, man, right there.
Listen, as you're building, from a management perspective, you may get that $100,000 deal, right? But there's might be months or years where your manager hasn't gotten paid and has done a bunch of stuff for you. Taking you, you know, where the therapist, where the Uber driver, where everything. So that 20,000 may seem like a lot at that moment, but if you sit there and you bring that back and be like, damn, this dude's been working with me for 3 years, I guarantee you it's under minimum wage. So that for that
free.
scenario. That's
I just want to put that out there.
But that's what I'm
free.
saying.
Yeah,
a manager has to believe in you.
Right.
And when and this is the thing, when money gets involved and somebody doesn't want to give a manager or somebody that's been there, that's a problem. And that should be, you got to look out for that from the beginning, because it's like, it's okay for you to do whatever you want when there's no money involved. Get me to and help me and do whatever. Now it's time to get paid. And you're like, damn,
now
I got to give you. You got to get, what are you talking about? Right. Like, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times, like, and I'm speaking from experience, where it's like years of no pay.
Years invested.
Years of no pay. Like, literally, bro, like nothing. I remember having a conversation with my stepfather, and I would have my 9 to 5 and come home and do this and do that. And he was like, listen, when you come home and you bring a dining room table and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was because of what I did.
Yeah.
It becomes different from with your wife or whatever, with anything. But, you know, I've bought a lot of dining room tables now, right? This is what I do now.
Right.
But for years, there was nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So you're working on faith, right? Basically.
Right.
You're not working on money.
Right.
You're working on faith.
Yeah.
Right?
So you could be years, and then you get something, you get an $800 check, and you're like, yo, this is great. But if you really nah.
Not really. Yeah.
Nah, and that's what people don't get. And again, some managers are out here for just whatever. And that's why I put such an emphasis on relationship, and now I control my narrative. For me, because I'm not 20.
Right.
I'm 50, and I could say no.
And you know your worth.
Yeah, and
right?
I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah,
Thank you, I appreciate it. You know, somebody, even if there was somebody popping, excuse me, hey, you want to manage? I got to look at the situation.
Yeah. What are expectations? What kind of person are you?
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is this gonna be a bad relationship? Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like I said, I want to keep my private client status with the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have the, where they have my coffee, right?
Yeah, I got you.
I'm good. I ain't gonna be one of them asshole managers. I ain't gonna be one of those asshole people. Let's keep it at that.
Okay.
I'm good. Yes, and some people get it twisted. That I'm personal about human, whatever. We're in business to make bread. Let's not get it that twisted.
Correct.
Right? But there's a right way. I always say I'm a shark, but I'm a vegan shark.
He's a vegan shark. All right. In summary, if somebody wanted you to manage them, where would they reach you? Please speak into the camera. And also, where would they buy this book that you're about to autograph for me? The Content to Cash Bible.
Content to Cash Bible.
I'm going to read this, and you guys will see me become an influencer. He's going to manage me, but you're going to see my shit pop. It's going to be popping.
Yeah.
All right?
Nah, I mean, all socials at Mike Success, MYQ, SUCCESS. The book, the link is in my bio. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Wherever you get books, you can get it. Any of my posts on IG, if you put the word content or book, it'll get sent to you. And as far as from a management side, I would love new managers to reach out. That's what I would love. Not so much clients. I'm open to that too. You want to be a part of the roster, part of the team, we over here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to say the Content to Cash Bible again. It's literally the ABCs.
It's lit. It's lit.
Yeah.
It's lit.
Yeah.
So I have to find a client to become a manager for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find a client. to become a manager with you.
That would be great.
Yeah, I got to figure it out.
That would be
I want to
great.
try that. Definitely one of the goals.
Great. But this is going to be turned into into courses, right? We'll monetize this.
Okay.
And like Ash was saying too, that's probably what will attract the managers.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's easily more digestible online.
Yeah. So I'll do that, figure that out. And then this is, people want to, for me to build a program and put it in schools and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I'm all for that.
New curriculum.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
All for that.
Most people don't know how to do it.
Yeah. And I don't think there's, honestly, anybody you could reach out to, let them know, I found a book. I don't think there's a book that breaks down content creation and then financial literacy all in one book. And this, I'm telling you, this book breaks it down. You may know some of this stuff, you may not, but there's people that are in this industry that have got back to me and be like, yo, Mike, this book is great. Like, honestly, I've been getting a lot of feedback. Like, this is really good, like, as far as for a basic aspect of it.
Right,
and you can build upon
understand.
something you don't know.
All right, man. Well, guys, we are out. This is the time. Hit him up. Mike Success. Hit me up. Ask Luis Omar whatever questions you have. See you on the next one.